Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Now with the main headlines. Grand Ayatollah Shirazi says that Amir al-Mu'mineen title is exclusive to Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. The Holy Karbala-based Misbah al-Hussein Foundation continues its humanitarian activities. Nigerian Shias call on current government to bring former ruling regime to justice. And the World Peace Conference held in Indonesia calls for world peace and coexistence. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear viewers. This is Yunus Dawood and you're watching Shia Waves from London, only on Imam Hussein TV 3. The daily scholarly meetings of Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq al-Hussein al-Shirazi was held on Monday, the 4th of Jumad al-Thani. In this session, like the previous meetings, the Marja answered the questions of the attendees about various jurisprudence issues. Grand Ayatollah Shirazi discussed the permissibility of using the title Amir al-Mu'mineen for the infallible Imams other than Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. Citing a narration from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, the Marja said it is mentioned in the narration that someone said to Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, and in response to the use of the title, the Imam said, do not use this title for us. The person asked the Imam, are you not the commander of the faithful? What can apparently be understood from the narration is that the Imam acknowledged that there are commanders of the faithful, but the title Amir al-Mu'mineen exclusively belonged to the first Imam. Referring to another narration, he also said, a person asked the Imam whether Imam al-Hujjah could be called Amir al-Mu'mineen when he reappears. The Imam answers that even Imam al-Hujjah will not be called Amir al-Mu'mineen because this title is exclusive to Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. Let's watch the statements of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi.
در اون روزی که در شیعه در منصور وارد شدن صبح میداد و فرمودن الامر الی الامیر ان صمت صمنا و این افطرت افطرنا میگن به امیر خطابش کردن.
بله همونجا ببینید جواهر غیر جواهر فرمودن حضرت یک کبرا گفتن، این کبرا تقیه نبوده، مصداقش تقیه بوده که منصور باشه، اگر نه کبرا واقع الامیر اون که امیر واقعیه یعنی اون که رئیس مسلمینه. آخه دو تا رئیس هست، رئیس واقعی که معصومین هستن علیهم السلام یا اونایی که معصومین تعیین کردن اما من کان من الفقهاء صالح لنفسه تا آخرش. یکی نه کسایی که به فرمایش حضرت سجاد علیه السلام در صحیفه سجاد ابتزو یعنی دزدیدن ریاست را که بنی امیه و بنی مروان و بنی عباس و امثال اینها باشن، اینا دزدیدن.
Once again, Misbah al-Hussein Foundation for Relief and Development, in collaboration with several faithful brothers and sisters, has distributed winter clothing and household items to dozens of needy families in multiple residential neighborhoods within the holy city of Karbala. Mr. Bahal Abadi, the coordinator of the foundation's activities, stated that the foundation has been continuously distributing winter clothing and heaters since the beginning of the winter season. During this initiative, which included dozens of families and involved cooperation with the humanitarian activists in various residential areas, winter clothing was distributed to widows and orphan children. Mr. Al-Abadi expressed his gratitude and appreciation to all the supporters of the Foundation's humanitarian and service projects, urging all those who are capable to get in touch with the Foundation and learn about its significant humanitarian projects, which encompass hundreds of orphaned and underprivileged families. Religious, social figures and Shia activists in Nigeria have called on the new president to bring to justice the perpetrators of the atrocities and bloody crimes against Shia in the country, most notably the massacre of Zaria, which took place on January 12, 2015 and left more than 1,000 martyrs. According to news outlets followed by Shia Waves agency, these Shia figures released their statement during a special ceremony held in Abuja on the occasion of the 8th anniversary of the crime. That what is happening to the country of aggression and violation of the rights of Shias, injustice and killing is due to the ruling policy and its fight against the Shia community. They continued that the current government must investigate the killings and the atrocities committed by the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, and the Muhammadu Buhari regime against the followers of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam and bring them to justice. They added that the human rights organizations are also required to defend the rights of Shias in Nigeria and reveal the violations that took place against them during the previous rule. Let us remind our respective viewers of today's headlines. Grand Ayatollah Shirazi says that Amir al-Mu'mineen title is exclusive to Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. The holy city of Karbala-based Misbah al-Hussein Foundation continues its humanitarian activities. Nigerian Shias call on current government to bring former ruling regime to justice. Also tonight, 53% of world's container trade in the Red Sea suspended amid Houthi attacks on commercial ships. The World Peace Conference held in the Indonesian capital Jakarta called for the intensification of efforts by Muslim preachers from both the Shia and the Sunni sects to promote the tolerant Islamic message and to actively participate in achieving peace in the world. They explained that the conference strongly emphasized making mosques the center of civilization, which can become a force for challenging the world for the better and producing generations of preachers to achieve world peace. Media outlets added that the conference is held at a time when humanity needs to achieve peace, security, and coexistence among human beings, and it was the title, The Role of Islamic Preaching in Creating Peace and Developing Civilization. The Imam Hussein Holy Shrine sent their representative, Sheikh Ali Al-Qarrawi, who spoke to Shia Waves agency. The conference aims to preserve world peace and develop a strategic study to make mosque centers for civilization enlightenment and preserve world peace. Al-Qarrawi stressed that the active participation of the Holy Shrine and the programs it has provided to achieve peace are based on the ideas and the values of the uprising of the Master of Martyrs, alayhi salam. And now we'll continue with some short news. In a single day of the winter session, the Parliament of India suspended 78 opposition MPs, with 11 facing a one-day suspension and the rest suspended for the remainder of the session due to unruly behaviour. These suspensions follow the suspension of 14 opposition MPs just days earlier, bringing the total of 92 suspended MPs, including members from both Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. The opposition MPs were protesting and demanding a statement from the Union Home Minister Amit Shah regarding a recent security breach in Parliament. American authorities have announced that the 3 former members of the Afghan Air Force were killed in a training aircraft crash in Oregon, USA. The 3 were identified as Ali Jan Ferdowsi, Muhammad Bashir Safdari, and Sayyid Muhammad Hussein Musawi. They were flying a training plane on Saturday, December the 16th, when due to heavy fog, their plane collided with power transmission lines and crashed. The Federal Aviation Administration and the National Transportation Safety Board are investigating the crash to shed light on all aspects of the incident. At least 29 Palestinian civilians have been killed in an Israeli airstrike in a residential area of Rafah in southern Gaza, while a hospital was raided in North Gaza and 10 people were killed in an attack on a refugee camp in that part of the enclave, news outlets have reported. The attack destroyed 3 residential buildings in one area. The number of casualties was expected to rise as more bodies were pulled from under the rubble, which people were also trapped. Separately, at least 10 Palestinians were killed and many more injured in an Israeli air raid on the Jabali refugee camp in northern Gaza, a spokesperson for the Ministry of Health in the enclave also said. A magnitude 6.2 earthquake struck one of China's poorest regions just before midnight on Monday, killing at least 126 people, injuring hundreds and bringing down mud houses in remote villages that never stood a chance. The authorities quickly mobilized the several emergency responses, but their work was complicated as the earthquake wrecked roads and infrastructure, triggered landslides and half-buried a village in silt. The quake was China's deadliest since 2014, damaging more than 155,000 buildings, according to CCTV, and sent residents running into the freezing streets for safety. Faced no serious challenges, Egypt's President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has won a third 6-year term with 89.6% of the vote, the Egyptian Electoral Commission has announced. The president was able to claim the top job after Egypt's constitution was amended in 2019, extending the presidential term to 6 years from 4 and allowing Sisi to stand for a third term. The election was held as Egypt struggles with a slowing burning economic crisis and tries to manage them. 53% of the world's container trade in the Red Sea suspended amid Houthi attacks on commercial ships. In the past weeks, several commercial ships in international waters were attacked by the Houthis. The group also seized a British-owned cargo ship linked to an Israeli company last month. More details in the following report.
The United States and Britain condemned the Houthi attack on their ships and blamed Iran for its role in supporting the Houthis, but Iran says it had no role in the attacks and that the Houthis make their own decisions. Previously, Mohammed Ali al-Houthi, a member of the Supreme Political Council of Yemen, stated, "We recommend that the ships follow the orders of the Yemeni Navy in order to avoid risks in the Red Sea. We also recommend that the identity of the ships should not be falsified and any flags other than the ship's owners be removed. The ships traveling through the Red Sea should not be destined for the shores of Israel." The Yemeni army, in support of Palestine, targeted several Israeli ships in the Red Sea and Bab el-Mandeb Strait in the past weeks. They had previously announced that in response to Israel's military action, they would target any Israeli ship in the Gaza Strip. The densely populated areas, including the Red Sea coast of Yemen, are under the control of the Houthis, who have taken power since 2014. They use drones and rockets to attack ships, and in one case, the group also seized an Israeli-linked ship with its crew using a helicopter. The European Union's Foreign Policy Office announced on Wednesday the numerous attacks carried out from Houthi-controlled areas in Yemen violate international regulations and threaten international navigation and maritime security. The Economist Weekly wrote in a report published on Saturday night that the 4 companies that stopped their transportation operations in the Red Sea account for 53% of the total world container trade. The decision of the Swiss-Italian Mediterranean Shipping Company, MSC, and the French company CMA CGM came after 2 other major shipping companies, Denmark's AP Moller Maersk and Germany's Hapag-Lloyd, said on Friday that they had suspended moving cargo through the Red Sea following attacks on the ships in the Red Sea. The Suez Canal is located in the northern part of the Red Sea, and the narrow Strait of Bab el-Mandeb is located in the south and leads to the Gulf of Aden. It is a strategic area where many ships pass through to transport goods between Asia and Europe. It is said that about 17,000 commercial ships pass through this area every year. Much of Europe's energy resources, such as oil and diesel fuel, are imported through the waterway, says John Staupert, the International Chamber of Shipping's Senior Director of Environment and Trade. In addition, food products such as oil and grains and many other commercial products also enter Europe through this channel. The surge in these attacks has impacted the global oil market, causing stagnation in the market and drop in prices. This has raised concerns about the decrease in demand from rich countries. Experts say that it is unlikely that the Houthis will be able to close this waterway, as this group does not possess any official warships to surround parts of the Red Sea. They can only create problems for these commercial ships with missile attacks and drones. Also, the navies of the United States, France, and other Western allies are patrolling the area and will not allow the waterway to be closed. Reporting for Shia Waves News, Ali Al-Hadi.
A UN official on Monday said a third of Myanmar's population needs humanitarian assistance, calling for action to relieve in the grim humanitarian situation in the conflict-ridden Asian country. The UN Secretary-General spokesman Stephen Dujarric told the reporters that 18.6 million people are in need of humanitarian assistance, which is 1 million more than the last year and almost 19 times the number of people requiring assistance before the military takeover. Children are bearing the brunt of the crisis, he said, that adding some 6 million of them need to aid due to displacement and interrupted healthcare and education, food insecurity and malnutrition, as well as protection risks. Women, girls, people with disabilities and Rohingya people are among those impacted the most by this dangerous environment, he also added. Dujarric emphasized that in the face of soaring needs, humanitarians have prioritized 5.3 million people for urgent assistance in 2024 and will need an approximate of $994 million. We have reached the end of today's Shia Wave show. Let's remind our viewers of today's headlines. Grand Ayatollah Shirazi says that the title of Amir al-Mu'mineen is exclusive to Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. The holy city of Karbala-based Misbah al-Hussein Foundation continues its humanitarian activities. Nigerian Shias call on current government to bring former ruling regime to justice. World Peace Conference held in Indonesia calls for world peace and coexistence. 53% of world's container trade in the Red Sea suspended amid Houthi attacks on commercial ships. And 1/3 of Myanmar population in need of humanitarian aid, says the UN. You can view the latest news on Shia Waves website, and you can send news of your city or country to be published on our news agency. Contact us on the numbers at the bottom of your screen. This is the end of today's news. Thank you for watching, and we pray to Allah the Almighty to hasten the appearance of the Master of our time. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We have all lost loved ones. Our duty of care towards parents, siblings, friends, and family does not end with their death. Rather, we have a duty to pray for their forgiveness and to continue